Going on, guys? Dylan here. Today we'll be going over a ticker symbol analysis on the ticker symbol IONQ. We're seeing a very major spot in the chart, guys, where we have long-term buyers, we have long-term sellers, we have many people looking at this exact spot, wondering, is this the area where stock price has that confluence, meaning that many different data points are jamming out in this area to get the upside to lead into new all-time highs? Or do we see stock price get the dip, right, being a little bit extended and leading into the next few months regress? With that being said, though, guys, remain completely unbiased in this very important time. We're going to jump to a couple different time frames to get a price prediction, levels to watch, and much more, guys. Let's get straight into the video. Price action is king, guys, point blank period. But with these short squeeze kind of stocks, guys, we say it all the time. The volume is king, and that's what we see in IONQ. We've seen this massive cup and handle enter this multi-year handle, really about a year and a half, but just such a tight squeeze for a very long period of time. Seeing the thick wide bar signifying the breakout level, right? What do we see, guys? Right when volume descended to that level, we seen the breakout. If we take a vertical line to this breakout level, you see right when volume broke this descension, you've seen the upside, guys. Let's go and remove that. Boom, you see a big uptick in volume breaking this very gradual descent, signifying a breakout. If we zoom into the current candle structures, guys, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell you that we did run up from this massive breakout before ultimately getting jammed out, consolidating at this level before dropping, and we're right back within this level, once again consolidating. So very simple, guys. As a technical analyst, our job is to see and determine whether this consolidation will lead to another drop, having a double top-like formation or short sellers like to get in, or could we potentially see these newfound short positions being up here, right, and over here, be squeezed out to the upside, right? As there's a lot of energy building within this phase. Previously did break to the downside, but that doesn't mean we have to do it again. So on the weekly with these kind of short squeeze stocks, if we take it very surface level, we see a bearish engulfing, right, pressing down. It is a bearish sign, but we want to rely more on the daily time frame for these kind of stocks. So with that being said, we acknowledge that we're in that consolidation phase, building energy for the next movement. So let's go flip over to the daily. On the daily analysis, guys, you've seen a very obvious and clear channel, really just jambling around, going from the floor, right, back down to the middle, to the floor, to the ceiling, back down to the floor, to the middle, to the floor. You get it, guys. And then we've seen some bullish divergence pressing against this resistance again. So ultimately closing over and seeing a short squeeze-like effect, a massive movement price action, right when we did see this false breakout over the highs. This very obvious blow at top with a bearish engulfing candlestick over here, signifying a reversal in trend into a gap down. And now we squeeze right back down to this level. And we did bounce on the floor once again for being short-lived, guys. So, as of now, we do see that short sellers definitely have been stepping into this position, guys. Seeing these big wickouts, that signifies that sellers have established positions. As previously, these candlesticks once were a very big wide body bar, just like this one down here, right? It was a nice strong big bar, right? It was a nice strong big bar before sellers shoved it down, ending the day down here. Once was a nice strong big bar, even bigger than this one over here, right? Nice strong big body bar, shoving down, right? And then same story over the last 4 days. So every single day has really been just a tough one for the buyers over the last 4 or 5 days, right? It appears to be a nice day, they flush it down. Here's to be a nice day and they flush it down. So if we were to be extremely surface level and just take this data, you would say that this floor, the ascending support, which has been very strong, where stock price has bounced on for around really 15-20 days over the last month and a half, just a super critical level, right? This could break, but it's a little bit more, advanced than that. It's not so surface level, guys. So as of now, right, we have this big blue box of support being a very major support level. So being that this does coincide with this ascending support, this is what we like to call a double padded support level. So despite seeing a lot of short-term negative signs to the downside, we do acknowledge that this is a very important level where buyers have historically like to step up and shove stock price up. So, if we do get that bounce, guys, I mean, very easily we could squeeze out all these short sellers and lead to a massive movement. Maybe not so big as that, but it could be a very sizable movement. So within that in mind, we do acknowledge that even if we do break down from this 37.50, we could get a false breakdown and pop right over, right? And if we do get the bounce first and foremost, we could squeeze out of this descending trend line and just get the upside, guys. So, although from a surface level perspective, it is quite simple, really is more advanced when we break down the nuances, guys. And the last thing we want to take away from the daily, guys, is just how strong this bullish volume has been. When we see big breakouts, you see incredible movement in volume, right? But we had this big phase of descension, really not much volume at all. So quite a lot of conflicting signs from the daily. So this is a good perspective to go and shift over to the hourly to get a little bit more of a short-term analysis. The reason why a lot of successful traders use a multi-time frame analysis is for this reason, guys. We get a very, very great perspective of this descending trend line where we have rejected upon. It is a very good possibility that we do get the bounce, right, reject, and form into this form, right? We're very, very good at spotting this over the years. And if we do reach the very, very tight apex structure, you guys better get your popcorn out, as that is as tight of a squeeze as you can get, especially being in this very, very, important weekly context, guys, being that we're back in this consolidation pocket. We could have that move depicted straight up on that, guys. So centering back to the hourly, zooming out a little bit, we see that, guys. I mean, you just once again see the buying pressure, right? When the bulls step in, it's this massive surge in volume, right? And then we've seen this big descension in volume. It's not even comparable. So once again, seeing more flip out signs, right? But to flip it from a devil's advocate perspective, we've seen multiple fake breakouts where it did appear that buyers are going to get the strong movement up to retest these upper levels of ultimately getting shot down. But once again, guys, the volume confirmation backs the bulls. So something that will let you know if stock price will get that downside is that if we see some abnormal selling pressure, which we haven't seen as of yet, sellers really haven't put their foot on the necks of buyers yet, despite having these very, negative short-term indications, getting these false breakout after false breakout, trapping the bulls, trapping retail money, even potentially smart money. We do have to acknowledge that we haven't seen the seller pressure to really establish the break of this very, very important ascending support. So although, once again, from a surface level perspective, stock does look pretty simple, right? Coming back down to this level with some negative indications on the candles, a weekly bearish engulfing, right? Some daily wickouts, some fake breakouts, some inverted hammer candles. This is the spot where if it flips 180 and gets over $40, guys, I mean, you could squeeze up every single one of these sellers and see a massive movement to the upside. So although we see a lot of signs leaning back and forth, guys, we'll more or less lean neutral from our perspective, from our price prediction, guys. If you see volume confirmation to the downside, knifing down hard, right, we will lean bearish. There's a lot of room to move to the downside, but there is a lot of room to move to the upside, guys. So although, we can form a bias while we're in this very, very tight range where stock price has to make a decision soon, it's more or less more responsible and seasoned to remain data oriented, wait on the sidelines and see what happens, guys. So with that being said, whether way this does move, we will see the clear confirmation. And it's as simple as that. We'll continue to cover IONQ as the least transpires. As much as I want to come on here, guys, and give you guys a very bold, cool prediction. I mean, it's just not always the case with stocks. Sometimes they give neutral signs, and we haven't quite confirmed. And especially, guys, once again, if we push over the top and really start to reject more, especially in the hourly, I mean, we'll get really, really tight within the structure. And that's going to let you know where stock price will move. So with that being said, guys, that's the analysis. If you found any value, consider like, subscribing for more of these updates. Hope you guys have a good day. Take care and peace.